Anybody who makes it to a certain level of success on the internet gets their haters. These are people who spend their entire lives trolling social media, looking at every piece of content you make, and they can't wait to find out that you've made a mistake, or better yet, if you've been scammed. This brings a type of orgasmic joy to the hater's heart. Yes, the guy that I hate, he got screwed. And I'm gonna crow about it because I'm much too smart to have been screwed the way he was. In the unlikely event you have not heard of Nerdrotic, aka Gary Buchler, very German name, he is a pop culture critic who focuses primarily on the dumpster fire that is Disney and basically the general slop that Hollywood has been churning out. In the process of becoming a very famous YouTuber, I think he's more than 1 million strong now, he's collected a few haters. And one of them this last week got wind of the fact that apparently Nerdrotic was scammed by a vanity publisher, which, being the nonsense-free editor and ghostwriter extraordinaire, that caught my attention. How could it possibly be that someone at this level of success in their life got scammed by something as low rent as a vanity publisher? LMFAO. Nerdrotic got scammed by a vanity publisher to write his masturbatory From Prison to YouTube memoir. The ISBN is already on the cover. They interview you for 15 hours and then pump out some dog shit memoir, scare quotes, for $100,000. Fake Amazon reviews included. Okay, I'm confused. So, okay. How is it you think that ghost-written memoirs are created? That's the first thing. And two, you know what? I'm going to stop. That price tag does seem really hefty. $100,000. Okay, so for a full-length memoir, for reference, generally speaking, I, the nonsense-free editor, will charge anywhere between $6,000 and $9,000 for a memoir, which is a hefty chunk of change, but, you know, it's not $100,000. So maybe Gary, did you get fleeced? Did you? And if not, what was worth that price tag? What exactly is involved in memoir ghostwriting? And why would anybody do it? And that's what we're going to talk about today. Let's get started. Hello, Shameless Writers. I'm Kristen McTiernan, the nonsense-free editor, here for your regular dose of writing and publishing wisdom. And this week we're going to be talking about ghostwriting, specifically ghostwriting nonfiction, memoirs and informational nonfiction. You, the successful person, decide that, you know what, you just don't have time for this, and you're going to hire someone to write you a nonfiction book, whether that's about your life or about some subject that you're an expert in. And then you're going to publish it under your name. I don't need to tell you that this is not a new practice. We all know Hillary Clinton did not sit down and write all of those books, and maybe Barack Obama did, we don't know. But for some reason, and I think maybe it has a little bit something to do with the proliferation of AI models, people are starting to kind of dump on ghostwriting as a whole again. In reference to the Nerdrotic nonsense, this commenter said, why not just hire a ghostwriter and give him credit? Bill O'Reilly did it when he was using falafels on women. I could tell you're my age. That weren't his wife. And Nerdrotic is no Bill O'Reilly, even though this whole thing stinks. Or maybe you're my dad's age. He really likes Bill O'Reilly. I'm actually not sure, but you're not young. You're not young. Now, Brandon over here is not the only person who feels like using a ghostwriter is fine as long as you credit the ghostwriter. As a ghostwriter myself, I have been credited on occasion, but more times than not, I am not credited. And I, as the ghostwriter, am not upset about that. I, personally, could not have written this specific book without the knowledge of the author. This goes doubly true for any memoirist because it's about their life. So before we get into the meat of everything, I do want to dispel the idea that using a ghostwriter at all is unethical or that somehow not crediting your ghostwriter is immoral. It's not. Neither of these things are unethical. And when you look at the complaints, the people who are angry at a specific author for using a ghostwriter or being suspected of using a ghostwriter, if you drill down the reviews enough, you will typically find that it's not the practice of using a ghostwriter that they're actually upset about. It's that they hate the author themselves. Called it way back. Nerdrotic ain't writing, nor even dictating no book. Well, hello, my fellow Southern brethren. It's lovely to see you. It's impressive that he can even compose and read his own rants for his videos, assuming he writes those. He clearly harbors deep resentment toward creative people generally. Does that sound like someone who actually has thought deeply about the consequences of using a ghostwriter or of publishing a book in general? No, this is someone who hates Gary. Okay, let's just call it what it is. But whether you love him or you hate him, $100,000 on a memoir. Jesus, why? Why would you do this? Well, the answer is actually really easy to find by going to lysekghostwriting.com. Now, Joshua Lysek made it big as a ghostwriter. He has a huge platform on Twitter thanks largely to the fact that he has ghostwritten books for Scott Adams and Jack Posobiec. And $100,000 is about what Joshua charges his clients. Now, why would anybody, even if they have the means, be willing to pay that for a book? Well, let's hear it from Joshua. A book can open doors, sell your services for you, and establish you as a thought leader in your industry. We can help you write that book. This is the important part. These books have directly led to coverage in major news outlets such as NBC and the New York Times, as well as featured interviews on popular podcasts such as the Pump Podcast and Mixergy. Lysek-produced books have also generated 5-figure speaking engagements at industry conferences and even TED Talks. And through all that, these new authors have found more clients and customers for their businesses. Lysek Ghostwriting has turned niche experts into world-renowned names, growing their social media following, increasing their revenue, and creating velvet rope opportunities. Now it's your turn. So that's your answer. That right there. Did you hear that? Did you hear the cha-ching in that copy? Lysek Publishing is not promising you, hey, I'm going to give you a completed book when we're done here. No, here's what he's promising. I will elevate your platform. People will know your name, people outside of your immediate niche who already know your name, because Lysek doesn't work with people without an existing platform or a business. He doesn't take Joe Schmo, single mom. I want to write my memoir about the challenges of overcoming illness while raising a disabled child. Okay, what business are you promoting? What product do you have to sell? If the answer is nothing, I just want to be an author, Lysek won't work for you, and I'm pretty sure Legacy Publishing, who Gary used, won't either. Now, why is this? The reason these services cost so much is because they're not just promising you a book. They are promising you status, something that TradPub used to trade in, but really they can't even offer you that anymore. They offer you money. The $100,000 that you spend on a done-for-you book, including advertising and publicity, by the way, which is the important part, is that you're going to be making money on the back end. Now, if you charge $5.99 for an ebook, and we'll be generous and say that you're charging $35 for your paperback, okay, you're going to make money off the book royalties, but that's not what's going to help you recoup that $100,000 investment. It's going to be whatever you're selling on the back end. Are you a speaker? Are you a person who's on the podcast circuit? Are you a person who's running for office? Lord knows they clean up nicely if they're elected, don't they? Do you have a business? Do you want to be a thought leader? Okay, now we make fun of the term thought leader, but if people say, hey, we need a podcast guest on Joe Rogan about this particular subject, and this particular subject is the thing that you are known for, a thought leader, guess who Rogan is going to be calling? So do you see what I'm saying? The reason that my book that I produce for you costs $10,000 is because you're only paying for my time and my expertise. I'm not marketing this book for you. I'm certainly not getting you on a podcast. I don't know how to do that because I am not a full-scale publisher like Lysek and Legacy Publishing are. I'd be interested to know which one of those two entities came about first. Like, Joshua, is somebody ripping you off? Now, if I know my audience, and I think I do, like me, none of you can afford to spend $100,000 on a memoir or a nonfiction book. And frankly, you wouldn't want to. You would want to do something else with that money if you just had it sitting around. Fair enough. Me too. So if you are just a regular Joe Blow and you are looking to publish your life story, we'll confine it to memoirs for now. The question is, why would you spend money on a ghostwriter to do this? There are a couple of different reasons. The first is to leave a legacy behind you. I put this in my newsletter last week. When Scott Adams broke the news that he would not be with us very much longer, it seems like just a couple of months. Goodness, what a loss. There was at least the comfort in the knowledge that he leaves a great body of work behind him, not just Dilbert, but also the books that he's written and his podcasts. His voice, his mannerisms, his wisdom, these will all be left for future generations. He's leaving a mark even after he's gone, and all humans want to do that. All of them. Sometimes people have children specifically just so they can leave a legacy. They don't necessarily like kids, but they have them because legacy. And by the way, Legacy Launch Publishing, good naming, very good. We all want to be known. And when we die, we don't want to have that horrible feeling that after I die, it will be like I was never here at all. No one wants that. So a book might seem a paltry substitute for, I don't know, like inventing electricity or whatever, but it's what we can do. And it's something to do, to leave that legacy, to leave that mark that you were here. And some people do publish memoirs only for their family and friends. The investment that they spend in a ghostwriter like me is because they are not themselves a writer and have no interest to be. And because it's a gift, they're not trying to recoup the money back. They are spending this $9,000, $10,000 so they can give this book to their children. This is who I was before I had you. This is who I was before I was a grandma. This is who I was before I found the Lord. Please know me. Please know the full picture of me, not just as your mom. That's a very common one. So for men don't do this as much. When men write memoirs and they want to leave a mark, they want to give a gift to their family, it's weirdly, or maybe not weirdly, about all of the times they failed. It's usually a long list of failures. And then the book will end with where they succeeded. Like, okay, kiddo, you were born in 1986. And daddy made it big in whatever business that he started or whatever chance that he took that paid off in 1989. Technically, you experienced the hard times with me, but you don't remember them. So here, let me fill that in for you. The men typically write more cautionary tales, where the women typically write more sentimentality. It's like, here's what I want you to know about my heart and my spirit and who I loved and how I loved them, because you never got to see that because all of this was over and done with by the time you were born. So very different flavors between the genders and what kind of memoirs they write for their loved ones as a gift, not expecting to recoup the money back. The second kind of memoir that you write is exactly what Lysek and Legacy Launch Publishing are talking about. You want to be a best-selling author, which is something that Legacy Launch says they will do for you. You will attract more and higher quality clients. Now, what your business is, it could be anything. Are you a therapist and you want to write a memoir, thus engendering more trust in your prospective patients? Maybe. Do you sell carpet and say it's a particular kind of washable carpet, but your social media platform, I don't know, it's like you have the branding of, oh, you're a busy dog mom. Yes, I'm using that word unapologetically, dog mom. And you want to write a memoir about all of the dogs that you rescue and how often you had to wash those carpets, thus creating kind of a personal, albeit a little bit parasocial, relationship between you and your prospective customers. Because there's a lot of reasons people need washable rugs, and by golly, you're going to be the one they think of, even if your rugs are not the cheapest or even the best. They know you. They read about your story. They like you. And they want to buy your rug. And then there's the big four. Become sought-after speaker and podcast guest, be written about in major media, become known as the authority in your industry, and get more exposure and open more doors. That's where you make money on the back end. Now, if you have $100,000, you can have this company or Lysek do all of these things for you. Whereas if you come to me, you get the book done for you. The book is done. I can refer you to artists who will do the cover. I can refer you to a marketer who will help get you on podcasts. And I can refer you to someone who will manage your social media. But that's it. That's all you get from me. Everything past that, in order to make that money on the back end, that you will have to find for yourself. That takes time. That takes additional money. And if you don't have time, and this is the important thing if you're someone at Gary's level of success, you need an all-in-one package. You don't want to find 16 different freelancers who will do all of these things for you so that you can recoup your investment. It almost doesn't matter if it's cheaper to hire the 16 different freelancers than it is to go with this one company. It doesn't matter because you have money. What you don't have is time. Whereas the rest of us are in the opposite camp. We have time, at least some of it, but we don't have money. And so we have to piecemeal it. So did Gary get scammed? I have not seen the book. I doubt it. I doubt he got scammed. Could he have done it for cheaper? Especially the fact that, as I understand it, Eric July is distributing his book for him. Probably. He probably could have done this a lot cheaper. But could he have done it in a quicker, more efficient, more hands-off way for the money? No. No, he could not have. Absolutely not. This is a one-and-done issue. Now, I did hit Gary up in the DMs asking if he liked his experience with Legacy Launchpad or if he would have maybe made a different choice if he could do it over again. He did not get back to me, which is partly why I wore my prettiest dress to persuade him. I would love to hear about it. I would love to hear about it if they're worth the money because, I'm a mutual with Joshua Lysek. So if I had been asked, I would have recommended him. But for prospective clients who are looking for more of an all-in-one package and who can't afford it, I like to know who to refer them to. And if you're thinking, Kristen, why would you refer someone to another ghostwriter? They're your competition. No, they're not. I am not in the same business as Legacy Launchpad and Lysek Ghostwriting. I'm not. The services we offer are similar, but they're in no way identical. And our clientele is definitely not identical either. And that's really the key for you, the prospective memoir author. You want to find who is right for you. Do they offer what you want and will they do it properly? That is an important question. Are they in your budget? That is also an important question. But what you really have to ask yourself is, do you offer exactly what I need at exactly the price that I can afford or am willing to pay? Because sometimes people will stretch if they know they're going to get their investment back. A book that will be your legacy or your business card, really. This is what you're going to be recruiting clients with. You don't want it to be slapdash. You don't want to be like, it's good enough. It's fine. No, it needs to be exactly what you want it to be, which is why places like Legacy Launchpad exist and the Nonsense-Free Editor exist. We coexist nicely, like that stupid bumper sticker that was everywhere in the 90s, because we're not in competition. We're offering different things to different people. The only question for you, the author, is to know exactly what you want. And if you don't know exactly what you want, well, that's okay too. That's what this channel is here for. So that's all for this week. And if you have any burning thoughts about the use of ghostwriters, whether credited or not credited, I would love to hear about it in the comments. And if you are thinking of writing a memoir or a nonfiction book and using a ghostwriting service, and you don't have $100,000, I would be happy to help you with that too. Link below. So until next time, take care and write well.